Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Wolves of Shadowed Fate. Episode 12. Chapter 65-70. Raven's POV. I find myself in a lovely garden with colorful flowers all around me. I was lying on a small patch of grass, and looking up at a gorgeous blue sky. I am alone as I sit up and look around. In the distance, I can see that there is a lady sitting on a bench swing at the top of a nearby hill. There is no one else around, but the view is stunning. I could lay here all day and enjoy the peace and beauty around me. I got up after a while and started up the hill towards her. She continues to swing slowly on the swing, acting like she doesn't know that I am coming, but I believe I know who this is. I see her long black hair like mine, and I am looking forward to seeing her face. I have heard a lot about the goddess, and I know that actually getting to see her is a blessing in itself. She doesn't usually show herself unless it is important, and I guess I know what she wants to speak to me about. I am wondering why it is taking me so long to get to her, and it seems like I am moving in slow motion. This uphill climb is taking a very long time. I have to wonder what this is all about now, as she wasn't very far away from me, but it is like I am walking at about a third of my normal pace. I finally make it to the top and she turns toward me and smiles. I am stunned at how familiar she looks to me. Like an older sister, with her twinkling blue eyes being the only difference to my own face. I am startled. How does she look like me, and my biological mother and sister? I see her smile at my confusion and then stand up from the swing to walk over to me. She is about an inch taller than me, at 6 feet tall. She is the most beautiful woman that I have seen in my life. Every step she takes is graceful and effortless as she steps up to me. She gives me a hug, and I feel a total calm rush over me from it. She is happy to see me and motions me back toward the swing. We swing for a little while in peaceful silence and she finally asks me, "Are you still mad at me, Raven?" I freeze because actually, I am. I was not going to mention it or question her decisions about what she is doing in my life. She is much wiser than me, and she knows best between us. That said, I am still mad at her. I stayed silent, as I don't know how to respond. She will know that I am lying if I say no, and yet, I don't have the will to admit it to her. She gives another soft laugh, and said, "Yes, I thought so, Raven. You have had a hard life growing up, but I know that the last hour at Silver Blade was the worst one for you. I am sorry for that. I really am, but I am not the only power in our plane of existence. There are always evil forces at work as well. All I can do is when those evil plans come to my attention, I try to prevent them from happening. I put the best option for success in play to make sure that my children are as safe as they can be. I know that you have doubts, and concerns, about what is about to happen. I can tell you this, it had to be you, Raven." "What do you mean it had to be me? Out of all your descendants, why would my being involved in this make any difference at all? I am just a regular girl, I am not important in the grand scheme of things. My own mate didn't even want me. You know this, you should have seen this yourself. If my own mate didn't even want me because I was weak and wolfless, how can you possibly think that I am valuable to you?" I asked the goddess. "You are anything but weak, my sweet girl. Do not forget that Emerald is very strong, and so are you. Your birth mother, Cassandra, is a distant relation of mine. So distant in fact, that her own family has even forgotten it themselves. They still have strength in their line though. Didn't you think that you learned to defend yourself rather quickly? Learn to bake quickly? Things that you care about, and are passionate about you learn quite well, and very quickly. Your sister will share some of the same traits. So far, because of how she was raised, she only cares about getting more for herself and having things. She doesn't care about others, and this leads her down a dark path. Even though you had the same parents growing up, you were kept to yourself. She was spoiled and coddled, but her pups will be strong, just like yours will be. She and your former family have already found the pack that will help them. The plan is already in motion. Your children will be fighting each other in the war, the goddess told me. Reagan has fully escaped then. Can we not just go now and find them and take care of them? Without them knowing that we are coming? I asked her. We cannot change the outcome that has started. It is already set. The minute Reagan pulled that last trick of hers with Justin at the hotel, it was set in stone. I cannot interfere with it. Once that happened, I did the only thing that I could do. Allowed Justin to have his mate bond back, to be able to find you in time. I protected you and your baby until he found you, and they could get you to the hospital. I know that you are angry with him, but I want to share something with you, that I think will help you. I know how much pain you are in, and you are my special child. I know how badly you were hurt by all of this. So let me show you a few things, the goddess told me. We were transported to a hotel room with Reagan and Justin sitting around and talking. When Justin excused himself and went into the restroom during their conversation, we watched Reagan put something in his drink. 15 minutes later, he could not control himself. The goddess skipped to the next time, and the same thing happened. Over and over again, Reagan is having to drug him to get him to sleep with her. He did try to resist. He did the best he could, and even the night in the woods, she couldn't get him to do it in her room, so she dosed him again and then walked him out to the woods. She didn't know that the reason that he balked was that he had found me. He kept getting overly excited because she kept putting things in his drink to control him and make him sleep with her. All this mess and me being hurt so badly, and it was all because of Reagan. She did this deliberately because she wanted to hurt me, but he was so out of his mind from the drugs, no wonder he couldn't focus to make plans to get me out of there. Every time he turned around she was drugging him. The scene then changed to Brandon's office now. I see Crew and Truette in there with him. I see it as he stared in disbelief at the screen and begged for it to not be true. He did fight believing it at first, but then the self-doubt crept in. He expected me to do the same thing that Liza had done to him. To betray him. His howl of pain made me start to cry. I could hear his heart break in it. His pain and suffering to think that I would be able to betray him in the same way that she had. His pain was palpable in the room, and I know why they packed me up. Truette really believed it was me in the video. He was trying to protect his best friend. They had only known me a month and didn't know me all the way just yet. He had never been betrayed, so he didn't know about the pain that you would feel that accompanied an actual betrayal. I saw some of his memories, but to be here and experience it with him, seeing him shutting down because he couldn't handle the pain of it. He loved me so much that he didn't do what a normal alpha would have done. Reagan did this to make him mad enough to kill me. But he loved me too much for her plan to be successful. I am crying myself because we have all been so focused on what we were feeling that we couldn't see what the others were going through too. Your sister did all that. That is the reason that we cannot allow her and her offspring to be successful here. She has found a very strong potential mate. He is not set in stone just yet, but there are many strong men in the pack she is in. She carries strength in her genes too. That is the reason that you have two, very strong, very different, mates. They each have their own strengths, as do you. You and the pups will need to be protected. Kept safe, because you, your mates, and your children all play a significant role in the war that is coming. I just wanted to show you that you can put your pain down, at least the bulk of it. You can allow them both into your heart. I have seen your future, Raven. You do not have to worry about either one of your mates. They are true to you and will both love and protect you. I am not telling you this because we are on a timeline. I did it because I understand that you need to move at your own pace, to feel comfortable about this whole thing. I just wanted to call you here tonight, to show you that as painful as your side was, theirs was for them too. Justin is so guilt-ridden that he is accepting all the punishment that you can pile on him. But you can see, that in each instance, she drugged him. She took his choice away from him. He is just as much a victim in this as you are, but his pull to you, really never stopped for him. Your sister, for lack of a better word, is involved in something that is bigger than she ever dreamed. With people who are intent on their own goals and dreams. They want to control people, and for us to go back to the old ways, instead of moving forward. I created the council for a reason, to keep my people safe. They cannot be successful in their attempt, things will become very bad for not just my descendants, but for other supernaturals as well. You can always contact me, Raven. As a descendant, you can call on me, and I can come to meet you in your dreams. I just cannot change the fabric of time to change the future, even to save my people. I cannot give you any further information, it has to be kept fair. Reagan knows about you, and your mates, so it was safe to tell you about her and her children as well, the goddess told me. Won't she leave us alone? I mean, she got away. Won't she just live her life, and leave us alone now? She could, we have no idea where So is, or with who. Wouldn't it be best for her just to live her best life now? I asked in surprise. I mean, I know she is terrible and cares about herself. That is not a surprise, but for her to hate us like that makes no sense, at all. She wanted Justin pretty badly, he just didn't want her. She had to change everything about herself for him to believe it was you in order to get him to sleep with her, without being dosed. That hurt her pride deeply. She truly believes that she is better than you in every way. Secondly, she was planning on going to Brandon after he had killed you and Justin in a fit of anger. She was going to try to see if he would accept her as a rebound, or chosen mate. She wants, what you have. All of it. She now has to live a life that is not the one she wanted. She is used to being spoiled, so every moment of her new life will make her madder and madder, at all three of you. Just don't rest on your laurels. You will need to continue to train the pups, in all forms of defense, both hand-to-hand, and weapons. They will each have strengths, but their strengths will be different from each one. Just keep training, and have Brandon and Justin train too. I will also increase your gifts as well. You three will all become stronger, heal faster, and have increased stamina. In addition, you three will each be able to learn new skills faster. That way your training will go by quickly, and you can continue to train your pack in a quick and effective manner. Your father will also be with you in this with Blood Walker, and his new pack, as well as Blue Moon. I will also try to help you with the pain that I know you have been holding onto. You are a sweet girl, who is very kind to others. The pain is now changing who you are, I will take it from you as a gift. I think now that you have been able to see what actually happened from their point of view, you will be able to get past this faster now. I will never tell you that it will be easy, but I will tell you that both of these men were created to love you. They both love you very much, and I have faith that you three will be able to navigate this together. I will send you back now. Take care of that pup for me, he is important, the goddess told me, and I closed my eyes as sleep took over me. Raven, please wake up, baby, can you hear me? Brandon sounded desperate, but I am struggling to open my eyes. Raven, I felt you move, are you back with us? Justin sounded just as panicked as Brandon did. I fought to open my eyes, and closed them quickly. There was a lot of light in the room. I heard the relief coming from both of them, as they saw me open my eyes. I am exhausted, I felt like I was up all night, maybe I was, and maybe time goes by faster with the goddess. I felt them each take a hand and I feel a kiss on each one as they calm down now that I am awake. I am thirsty and hungry, and I opened my eyes again, and I am able to keep them open this time. Baby, we were so worried. It is 10 a.m., you never sleep this late, and we figured that you were just tired. Last night was rough on all of us. We were only waking you up because you said your doctor's appointment was at 11, but we couldn't wake you. You scared us to death, Brandon told me, and I can see the same fear mirrored in Justin's eyes. I was with the goddess. She called me in a dream, and I was with her. But it seemed like I was just there for such a short time with her. I am still so tired, but I am also hungry and thirsty, I told them, but headed into the bathroom to go get ready. I put on a sports bra and leggings. I will be putting a t-shirt over it from my closet. I brushed my hair into a ponytail and brushed my teeth to get ready. I have to admit that even though I am tired, I feel a whole lot better today. Like I have more hope for the future than I did yesterday. In fact, I had to check on Emerald to see how she feels. Emerald, are you okay? I linked her. Never better, she replies. I feel like a weight has been taken off of me. I feel a lot happier today, I replied back to her. The goddess took our pain away. I saw what happened to our mates when the goddess showed you. The blame completely lies with Reagan, and I cannot wait to get my claws on her. One of these days she is going to pay the price for all that she has done to us, and to our mates. I will be glad to be the one to carry it out, Emerald told me, and I have to hold back my laugh. Emerald is happy, and I am too. This is a good day. I come out and head to my closet to grab a t-shirt. I see both of them watching me hungrily, and I smiled over at them. Maybe soon. We will have to see how it goes. I feel better about both of them, but I will not rush into this until I am completely ready to do so. I slipped the t-shirt over my head and walked over to them. I walked over and gave each of them a hug, and then a kiss on the cheek. They were both really happy at the first sign of forgiveness coming to them. I am a lot less upset now that I have seen their side of it, from an unbiased standpoint. I was so focused on my pain and anger, that I couldn't see theirs. I know that this will help me be able to get over this faster. It also explained why he was so ready to go again so fast. He was so excited by the drug he was willing to do anything or say anything to get her to allow him to do it. It explained a lot, and even though I am still hurt, with the goddess taking the bulk of the pain from us, I feel so much better about my mates. I will do better at showing affection. This was not their fault either, and now that the weight of pain has been taken from me, I can start to move forward. I am ready, I told them, and we headed over to the PAC hospital. Today is going to be a good day. I already know what we are having, the goddess told me. I will just keep it a secret for Brandon, as they were doing an ultrasound today, and I am over a month pregnant. They were going to see about measuring the baby, and seeing if we can tell the baby's S*X today, as I will only be pregnant for another 3.5 to a little less than 4 months. I will mention the rest of what she said to my dad, and the rest of the group at lunch. They need to know. I think Dad already suspected that they may be the PACs we go to war with. So we know one is Reagan, and I am pretty sure that her dad will probably be running the other pack, but we will prepare for the war as best we can. That is all we can do right now. Chapter 66 Alpha Blake's POV. I cannot wait for this meeting after dinner. The new people really think that we are all morons. We may not have a fancy pack house, but we have all seen the show. By the show, I mean his daughter having S*X with her mate, and pretending to be her sister. My men and I have seen both videos, and we know Reagan's body about as well as her mate does now. That video has flown through the pack. They needed to be in a secure pack, and I can't stand the council trying to tell us what we need to do. We do need funds, and they need a safe place. I have already allowed them admittance to the pack, and as far as I am concerned, they are members now. My word is my bond, and I believe in being honest and truthful with my pack members. My men were interested in the girls too. We will have to discuss that after the meeting with their fathers. We have shared before, and can again, but I think that one of my betas is interested in the beta female. I may have to disappoint him with that though, as I have my eye on her as well. I am the alpha here, and what I say goes. I can already see it in Reagan's eyes. She thinks that she will be the Luna just because she is an alpha female. She is mistaken. I mean, I would probably let her bear some of my pups, but I don't know about the Luna thing. I just can't see letting the new PN star be my mate and Luna. She is famous now, and not in a good way. Maybe the pack won't be able to recognize her with her being blonde, with blue eyes now, but goddess, she is hot either way. I will just have to keep from mentioning to her that she was way hotter with black hair and green eyes. I am quite sure she is jealous of her sister. She is clearly starting to flirt, and I know that she is doing it with the Luna position in mind. They think they are so much smarter than us, and I have to put my cup in front of my mouth to hide the smirk. I really cannot wait for this meeting. Sierra is whining about the new arrivals, and I could see her glaring at both girls in jealousy. Sierra was okay as my girlfriend when I was just a warrior, but now that I am alpha, I need to really focus on producing strong pups. I am good with having both the new arrivals bear my offspring. Both of them will do fine with providing me with what I need. I know her dad thinks that he can buy us off, but that won't be happening either. I will provide him some protection. I will only take what he has already offered. He wants a little land, to build a house, and it is a good deal for both of us. He will pay to build his house, and that is fine with me. He already offered to increase my land, and give me the price on their heads. I don't think he is aware of the actual price on their heads yet, but he will be soon. As soon as we get into the meeting. I already know who he is. I researched him as soon as we got the call from that Silas guy. Both of them are old school, conniving men. They think they are so much smarter than us, and I won't be letting them know any different until I need to. The more they think they have the upper hand, the better it is for us. Their opinions of us as ranked members, and our pack, will only give me the advantage when I need it. I know for a fact that Sierra is royally pissed off, as she has already demanded that I have them leave here tomorrow. She has been my girlfriend for about 2 years, but she is an Omega. She is not a high enough rank for me to accept her as my mate. She cannot bear me strong pups to take over this pack when the time comes. Plus, she has tried for the last 2 years, and she has never been pregnant. She is chomping at the bit to take that Reagan girl down a peg. I will probably let her do it too. I think it will be fun to watch and see what happens. I know that we were all stunned to see her in real life when she exited that SUV. I should have remembered that she was Alpha Graham's daughter. It was mentioned in the second video. We were all pretty interested in her, and I saw the smirk Alpha Graham had before he hit it. He is thinking that we are all wanting her as a mate. We all might want to mate her, but none of us want to mark her and claim her as ours. It was clear from her video showing how relaxed she was, a video that she clearly set up. She was not scared to have S*X in front of that camera. That is not a rookie move on her part. That is some advanced and very confident actions. I am sure she fully intended her sister to be the one who was shamed, and it never be traced back to her. I am quite sure she was furious when it did get pointed right back at her. I would be quicker to take that Cheryl girl for a mate. She has beta blood, and she has been trained. She is much more cautious and attentive to her surroundings. She is careful, and I can tell that she is prepared to fight if she needs to. I can already see that she is a good fighter, and I will test that theory out during the meeting tonight. If it is one thing that I know, it is that Sierra is willing to fight for me. She isn't the strongest fighter, but she isn't the worst fighter either. Plus, she is really much more aggressive and possessive over me, so this should be a good show. I will be kicking Sierra out of my office for the actual meeting. I usually do for important meetings. She doesn't need to know the inner workings of our pack. She will be mad, and the women in the group will all be outside of the door, waiting for their mates, and fathers. We should be able to hear at least a part of the fight. If not, I will be prepared to put a stop to it in our own time. I have cameras all around the pack house, and the seating area where people wait to come to speak with me. I can watch it leading up to the good parts. It should go on for a little while before we hear it anyway, since my office is soundproofed. Dinner is over now, and as we go to head upstairs, Sierra is all over me, to show that I am hers. She has that backward, she is mine until I decide that I don't want her anymore. She has been fun, but I think after I see what I need to see here in a minute, I will know what I need to. I can tell from how Reagan keeps flipping her hair and looking back at me as they follow my dual betas to the office. She is trying her best to entice me, and she is doing a great job. I am interested, but I think that she will have to go to the pack doctor for a checkup before I try anything at all with her. She hasn't known me an hour, and yet is willing to hop in bed with me. The other girl has not flirted and is staying vigilant just like her father, an Alpha Gram. They are clearly the fighters of this group. The other three seem to depend on them, and I have to say that they are right to be wary of us. I know that we are wary of them. Trust isn't instant, and it shouldn't be. It should be earned, and I don't know if I, or any of my men, could ever get to trust either of these two men. There is something about them that worries me. But I think that they will stay calm here, not cause waves. They can't afford to. If they get found out, or end up leaving here, they would not last for long. The world is a hard place, and I can keep them safe here. I can protect them from harm coming to them. As long as they are guests or members here, they will be kept safe. I will guarantee that for them. My word is my bond. I will make sure that it is kept. We have an elevator, but we won't all fit into it. It is built into a wall and has wood paneling on it too, so unless you were looking for it, or it opened when you were around, you would miss it. I can see that they didn't like having to go up the flight of stairs to get to the second floor to go there. They keep thinking poorly of my pack. They assume based on what they have seen of it, never knowing that they are very much incorrect. We are very high-tech here. Just because we value our heritage and choose to build on our beloved pack house doesn't mean we couldn't build a nice modern one right next to it. For right now, we are satisfied with how our home is. Each time we remodel, the newest innovations and products get included. Our kitchen, for instance. It is very impressive. That was a long month of renovations, but it would rival any major restaurant in the world. Stainless steel products. Several sets of double ovens on one wall, and some major cooktops. 2 of them are griddles, the other 2 being actual gas stoves with 8 burners on top and 2 more stoves with them. We have a total of around 780 members so far. Not all live in the pack house. Some built their own cabins for their families to live in. But our kitchen gets a lot of use, they cook all 3 meals, and there is always something to each, no matter what shift you get for patrol. We also have 2 apartment complexes that were built about a year ago, they are further back in the woods from us. Both are 4-story buildings, that look very similar to each other. We kept it to only 4 stories because we want the trees to cover them. I don't want to draw a lot of attention to my pack, and I had input that I gave to the last alpha about that very thing. I was his beta at that time, but I had strong opinions of how I wanted it to be. 1 for couples and small families, and 1 for unmated wolves. Some prefer the quiet that they get from having their own place. They are not large apartments, but they are about 1,000 feet each for the unmated wolves. With 1 bedroom and attached bath, a small kitchen, and a living room area. The couples have a bigger apartment with either 2 or 3 bedrooms, a bigger kitchen, and additional bathrooms. My people are very happy here, and our pack grows each year. Having that land on either side of us, and the new injection of funds will allow me to fence our property in. I have always wanted to do that. Alpha Cole had a great idea, and I am going to improve upon it. I will have sensors at the top of the wall. One that doesn't alert unless 50 pounds or more is on it, to keep it from sounding all the time. I am full of ideas that I want to implement for my pack, some are cheaper to do, but that fence has been a dream of mine for a long time, as well as expanding the pack. I am willing to take in misfits and people that aren't wanted by other packs. Not anyone is dangerous, but wolves that were looking for a place to live and be safe. Most is so thankful for the protection we provide that they are glad to help us out with pack duties. They work and we provide for them all. No matter if they work in the kitchen, housekeeping, laundry, as a warrior, or whatever spot they can. It has increased our numbers to the highest that they have ever been. We have 780 members right now, and 786 with the new members. I hope in a year that we can increase to over 1,000. I want to become one of the strongest packs around, and with Alpha Graham's money, I believe that I can achieve it. Sierra is getting madder and madder at the flirty looks that Reagan is sending, and I know that she is about to say something about the video. I grabbed her hand tighter, and when she looked at me I shook my head to let her know not to say whatever it is that she is about to say. I would prefer to drop that bomb myself. We approach the office and my beta, who was leading the group, points to the small seating area and motions for the women to stay there. Sierra gives a smug smile before entering my office, and I follow behind her. She will not be staying here, she will be leaving, but I will be introducing my men to them first, and she can stay for that. If I boot her now, I will miss the show, and frankly, I don't want to miss a minute of it. Sierra plops down on my lap like she is used to doing, and I am good with that too. I allow Alpha Graham and Silas to sit down, and then I clear my throat so they know that I am starting the meeting now. Gentlemen, we welcome you to the Black Moon Pack. I want to introduce you to my men. I have 2 betas and 2 gammas. They all stood behind me as I introduced all my men to them, and watched as they sized them up. Garrett Black, first beta, and my right-hand man. I trust him completely. If you need something you can tell him. He can take care of anything in this pack. Garrett gives a small nod to them and stepped back. He is a wall of muscle, and at 6'3" he is a strong fighter. He is the same age as me at 22 years old. Black hair and hazel eyes, and he is a favorite of most of the women in the pack. His true mate died in a rogue attack years ago. He stays to himself and doesn't date, but if wanted to, he would have no problems at all finding a date. Brady Harding, my second beta, and he conducts a lot of the training here, along with the head training warrior, Wesley Sanders, who is not here tonight. With his baby face, blonde hair, and blue eyes, Brady is very popular with the ladies. At 6'2" and a talented fighter, he is a little younger than us at 21 years old. Brady likes to go out and learn other forms of defense and fighting techniques and implement them into our training. He enjoys going into the human world and seeing what they have to offer. I am not a huge fan of humans. They are very finicky and they tend to be very judgy about things that are different than the norm, so I just chose to avoid them. I pause to see if they have any questions and then proceed with my last two men. This is my first Gamma, Mark Caldwell. If you need information on the pack, you need to go to him. Mark is 6'3" with brown hair and light blue eyes that almost seem like they can look right through you to your soul, even at 22 years old. He is very intelligent and listens more than he speaks. He will not be giving up a lot of information to them, and he knows who we are dealing with here as well. He doesn't trust them but is willing to accept them until we see if they reveal their true colors. He will not hesitate in killing any of them, to protect the pack. He is one of my most valued advisors, and strongest fighters. I listen to him when he speaks. Finally, we have Travis Bradford, my second Gamma and one of the fastest wolves present in the pack. An excellent tracker and strong fighter, as they all are. I trust my men implicitly. They all have my faith, and I will always take their recommendations. Travis stepped forward and gives a nod to them. We are all very attached and linked to each other constantly. They know of my decisions before anyone else in the pack does. Travis is the youngest of my men, but he has a strong wolf. At 20 years old, he is already 6'4" just like me. He is a wonder at tracking and getting up to speed on what is happening in fights and attacks. I don't have to give him orders as he almost naturally seems to know what I am about to say. My men then go to take their seats on either end of the couches in my office. That is where they stay unless to go down, and at that point one of them, usually Garrett or Mark, will stay in position if they need to take someone out. But they will always be somewhere to the side, or behind the person who is sentenced to death. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Right now they are all looking comfortable on the couches, but I know, they are ready for action in the bat of an eye. Neither of these men would be able to touch me before my men took care of them. I had said that I trust my men as a warning to them. Even if I don't catch them in a lie, or doing something wrong, if any of my men do, that will be it for them. I will call the council on them myself, but until I decide to do it, they all know to leave it alone. I will not allow someone to take over or make decisions for this pack. It would be foolish for them to do so, as it would be the last thing that they do. This pack is up and coming, and we have an eclectic mixture of ranks and wolves here. We happily accept non-violent wolves into our pack. There are a lot of wolves out there that need protection, and that is what we strive to provide. I care very much for my pack and its people. I want everyone to feel safe and secure here, at all times. I will not allow people who are a danger to others to stay in my pack. I have done background checks on you both. I know why you are here, and I am glad to welcome you to Black Moon. Sierra, please excuse us for our meeting, I told her, and watched her frown grow at being kicked out. Yes, she is pissed. This should be a good show. Chapter 67 Alpha Graham's POV. The men here are very strong. I can feel the power radiating off of all of them. I heard the warning in what Alpha Blake just said to us. He is willing to take an Alpha into his pack, and that is not something that a weak Alpha would ever do. He and I both know that he would kill me if it came down to a fight. It would be no contest, but I do have over 2 decades of wisdom that I can impart to him. I believe that I have a lot to offer him that he hasn't realized yet. I will not offer him any of my ideas today. I will wait and observe, and if and when I see something that can be improved on, I will do it then. I will offer both of our services, both Silas and I as advisors, or in whatever position that he wants to give us. I can see that his girlfriend was pissed about having to leave the room. I was okay with his men now seated behind us. Neither Silas nor I were planning on causing any trouble. We need a safe place, and this looks to be as good a place as any of them. Especially after I get our home built. For safety, I will make it have 2 masters in it, so Silas and Billy can live with us. That way neither of the women is overwhelmed with cooking, and we are with the people we trust the most. We can have better meals for ourselves away from the pack house anyway. I was pretty comfortably set, and I had a great deal of money with me right now. I knew I needed to get to the bank early tomorrow and have some of my funds transferred to other accounts. I don't want the council trying to freeze my assets, which is why I have a human bank. I knew their tricks and they couldn't get away with it in the human banks. Blake waited until the door was shut behind his girlfriend, and then he hit a button to lock the door. I understand I do the same thing, and I didn't feel worried about the discussion. I was a little worried about my wife and daughter outside the office, neither of them had trained and frankly, they were both defenseless. I was going to have to work with them to get them to where they can at least defend themselves as soon as I can. I know that Silas and his family can help. But for right now, it is up to me to protect them here. I can only hope that Reagan can make herself attractive to the alpha, or ranked wolf here. She needs a strong mate, even if it is a chosen mate. Gentlemen, I would like to welcome you again to the Black Moon Pack. We truly are glad to have you here, and I can see that your years of service will make you both great assets to the pack. Blake started out. He managed to both compliment us, and point out our age at the same time. I cannot stop the frown on my forehead before I clear it away. He is very skilled with how he speaks. I do not think he is as simple as we had originally thought. We appreciate you allowing us to be here, Alpha Blake. As you know, there were extenuating circumstances that resulted in us having to flee our pack. I am very grateful for you allowing us to stay here with you. I do not ask for much, just what we agreed upon at the gate. I will be glad to help you purchase the land on both sides of your pack, as well as the price on our heads that they were going to pay to the person who turns us in. I am glad to pay you for our safety and protection. As I mentioned earlier, we don't want to be a bother to you. I would just like permission to build a home, in the area that you deem acceptable for us to build in. It will not be large, just a 4-bedroom home for us, and our daughters to live in. Smaller than that, if they happen to find good mates here at Black Moon, I told him. I see the small smile that tugs across his face. He is very smug, but I saw the reaction that all 5 of them had when they saw Reagan. They were interested, and I was just mentioning that the girls were not averse to finding mates here. I am sure something can be worked out for them both. Alpha Graham, Alpha Blake said with a smirk. It is up to them who they choose. We are not here to cause problems. Again, we just want to be safe, I told him, and before I can speak again something hit the door, hard. Alpha Blake looked away from his monitor and stood up, unlocking the door, and heading to open it. The item that hit the door happened to be Sierra, who was still laying on the floor. I looked past Blake and see Cassandra holding Reagan, who was crying loudly. Cheryl was standing between Reagan and Sierra in an aggressive position. She was the reason that Reagan is safe now, and I already know what happened without having been here to see it. Someone is already jealous of Reagan and wanted to hurt her, or most likely try to scar her face. Reagan is much more attractive than this Sierra girl, and it makes sense for her to try to get her out of the running. I must admit Cheryl looks like a badass standing there waiting to see what Sierra is going to do next. I can see that several of the men around us are impressed with her as she stands there prepared to protect Reagan again. Blake, this girl attacked me for no reason. You need to throw all of them out of here right now, the girl Sierra screeched out as she scrambled up from the floor. Attacked you for no reason? What happened, Sierra? I heard Alpha Blake ask her in a concerned voice. I had just exited the office, and that slut over there gave me a smile and told me that she was going to replace me, and when I walked closer to talk to her, this other girl just attacked me. I told you that they were bad news. You already know the kind of people they are, we all do. It is best to make them go away before the council is on our doorstep, Sierra said. She recognized us, and that was plainly a threat to us. We will have to leave now because this jealous she-wolf was absolutely going to turn us in. My daughter does not attack first, she watches and waits. Please ask her what happened here, Alpha Blake. I am not calling your girlfriend untruthful, but that just doesn't sound like my daughter, Silas said with a bowed head. He knows that we are powerless here, but I agree with what Silas said. The only time I saw Cheryl be aggressive was over chasing Alpha Brandon. I don't want to be put to death for attacking one of his people, or for being made to leave when people are out there searching for us. What happened out here? Alpha Blake asked, and Reagan just kept crying. She has a few marks on her, her arms are scratched up and her shirt is torn. It is clear that she had been attacked by Sierra. There was no way that Reagan was going to be able to tell him what happened. I can tell you, Alpha Blake. When she came out, she was angry at us for no reason. She started telling us that she was going to have us all kicked out of the pack. She also said that she knew who we were and that she would be notifying the council where to find us. Reagan smiled at her when she threatened us, and that set your girlfriend off. She attacked Reagan before I could stop her, and then I kicked her to get her off of Reagan. Reagan didn't do anything other than smile at her. Reagan is not a fighter and didn't argue with your girlfriend, she never said anything at all to warrant an attack. I do not know why she is so jealous of us, when we just got here, and have not flirted or messed with any of the men here, Cheryl stated in a calm tone. I have a lot of respect for how straightforward she was in telling what happened. She also didn't come out of her protective stance, she was still ready for Sierra to attack her or Reagan again. She probably kept Reagan from being seriously hurt, and most likely having her face destroyed. Alpha Blake nodded at her, and I knew that he was mind-linking someone. I was getting very worried right now. I mean, we had been here a little over an hour, and the Alpha's girlfriend had decided that both girls needed to leave the pack. This is not an ideal situation for us as we just got here. Alpha Blake and Sierra have been together for over 2 years, she might just have his ear. I do not feel good about our odds right now. I was getting very nervous about the lack of speaking, and Sierra just kept smiling at Reagan and Cheryl in a vicious way. I had just decided that I was going to have to beg Alpha Blake to let us leave when 4 warriors arrived. It is probably too late for us, but I will beg for him to reconsider and allow us to just spend the night so we can make up plans for where to go next. I will gladly pay him for us to be able to leave. Alpha Blake, please, if you would just reconsider kicking us out. I will be glad to give you the bounty on our heads if we can just spend the night here and try to make plans for where we can go for safety next. We are not trying to cause problems in your pack, or in your relationship, I said to him with a bowed head. I am submitting to him for my family's safety. I will do anything for them, and I do not want us to end up in his cells. Please escort Sierra to the cells, Garrett. You know what to do, Alpha Blake said, and Garrett stepped out and grabbed Sierra's arm. Garrett already knew what was going to happen. That announcement was for us and Sierra to hear. Once she knew what was happening, she started screaming out, "Why, Blake? Why would you believe those sluts over me? I have been with you for over 2 years. I have been by your side when you were just a warrior. Why would you betray me like this? Sierra, this is the 3rd time that I have caught you in a lie. Plus, you know that everyone is safe here, you attacked someone who cannot fight. You were jealous and angry, you need to understand that all this was brought on by you. I saw what happened, as it played out." This woman told the exact truth about what happened and how it played out. Her smiling at you was no reason to attack her. You have done enough damage here. You are done. I cannot have you going over my head and attempting to call the council. That was the last straw. I may not have heard what you said, but I know how you think. You knew I was accepting them into the pack, and yet you still wanted to get rid of them. I will not allow you to threaten fellow pack members, or try to hold something over my head. You have made a pretty big mistake with me, and you should know better than that. Goodbye, Sierra, Alpha Blake said, and I had a chill come over me. He is a man of his word. Just the thought of her going over his head to report us caused him to send her off to the cells. She will probably be tortured before she is killed. He values his word, but he is not going to play with anyone. He is totally okay with killing his longtime lover and didn't blink an eye about it. Sierra screamed while she was escorted away. It was hard to hear her pleading and crying for her life. Alpha Blake, just draw a line for all of us. He is not to be trifled with. He stepped forward and held his hand out to Cherry. She shook his hand and looked up at him. She cannot read him, and honestly neither can I. I know that Silas is standing stock still next to me and he is clearly scared for his daughter. We do not know what he is about to say here, and we will have to wait for him to speak to know what he is about to do. There is nothing we can do right now as he watches her, but she doesn't back down, or look down. She stares directly into his face, and then the unexpected happens. He reaches out and strokes her cheek where Raven's heel cut open her face. I can see the blush hit her cheeks, and she does finally look down away from him. He puts his hand under her chin and gently pulls her face up to look at him. "What is your name?" Alpha Blake asked her. "Cheryl Peters," she responded back. Clearly, he has made his choice between them. I can see Reagan realizing what is happening and she is getting mad as she realizes that he is picking Cherry. She was honestly thinking that he was going to choose her over Cheryl, and to be honest, so was I between them. She is the most beautiful, but Alpha Blake is looking for numerous things in what he wants from a mate. She piqued his interest and he had made his decision between them. I have no idea what his reasoning was, but I am sure he had his own opinions that made him make that decision. I quickly linked Reagan to stop talking, as I saw her mouth open. I know how quickly he makes a judgment, and I didn't come here to lose my only child. She is fuming but closes her mouth. I reminded her that the other 4 men are available for her to select from, and she seems to be happy with them. She keeps glancing at the youngest one, Travis, and he is watching her too. I can only hope that she learns that she is not on top of the food chain anymore. She will have to temper her words and actions now. We have all seen how frightening Alpha Blake can be once he has decided there is no leeway in what is about to happen. His word is the law here, and he is serious about his people listening to what he tells them to do. I also remember that he mentioned that he had seen it himself, but I never saw a camera on our way from the dining room to his office. He has to have them though for him to have known what transpired out here. I walked over to hug Cassandra and then Reagan and spoke to them quietly, as they were both still scared by what had gone down with Sierra. The Alpha kept his word, he was going to keep us safe. I do feel better now, it is clear to me that no one will be going over his head to report us. That had been something that I was legitimately afraid of happening ever since we got here. Cheryl, I would like to see if you would like to train with us tomorrow. Maybe have breakfast or lunch with me, so we can get to know each other better? Does that sound okay to you? Alpha Blake asked her, and she blushed again before nodding in agreement with him. Well, it would have been best for it to have been Reagan, but as long as it was one of our daughters, this was still a win for us. It will solidify our becoming true pack members. He is clearly interested, and hopefully, he will decide to choose her as his chosen mate. Reagan still had opportunities with the other 4 men to become a chosen mate too. It has worked out for her mother and me, so it can work out for her too. We re-entered the office behind Alpha Blake and his 3 men. Garrett has not returned, and I already suspect that Sierra has already been taken care of, by this time. I saw a small sign above the hallway outside and figured that he had cameras in them. A lot of people had cameras that were hidden. It is actually best for catching people unaware. He knew there was going to be a problem, and he was watching his monitor while we spoke. I assumed he was reading emails or something when he glanced away, but he was actually watching the drama unfold outside the door. He knew Sierra. He knew she was going to pull something and was waiting for it. I am glad that he knew, and watched, so we could stop the fight. He protected our daughters as well, as he gave Sierra her last chance. She messed up, it was not on us at all. We finished the meeting with him telling me that he would take Silas and me out to look at potential places to build, and I appreciate him taking the time to do that. He seemed very easygoing with us, and towards the end of the meeting, he asked me if I knew what the bounty on our heads was. I assumed it was big, but I had no idea how much it was going to be. Cole and Brandon were both after us. The council wanted us to be caught as soon as possible. We had killed 2 members of the Blue Moon Pack, so I am sure they contributed to it as well. I was thinking that it was at least $500,000 on our heads. I didn't have that much in cash. But I was going to go by the bank tomorrow, and we could do a wire transfer into his account. I was going to give him $100,000 cash as a down payment for it. How much is it? I asked him, bracing for the bad news. I already had the down payment separated. 2 $50,000 bundles of hundreds. 5 bands of hundreds in each bundle. It was a good faith move on my part to show him that I was absolutely serious about what I told him that I would do. They have a total of $400,000 on your heads. You and Reagan both have $100,000 on each of you, as they wanted you to the most. $50,000 for each of the rest of your group. I am assuming that you are going to go to the bank with me tomorrow. I would like to move forward as quickly as I can on the land and get what I need to do with those funds, Alpha Blake said to me. I have $100,000 now, so you know that I am serious about this, and I will transfer the money for the land and the other $300,000 tomorrow at the bank. We can get it taken care of first thing in the morning if you would like, Alpha Blake, I told him, and he nodded in agreement. This wasn't a bad idea. Silas did a great job. I am much less worried now than I was this morning. This could totally work out for us in the end. Chapter 68 Raven's POV. We have been back at Blackadder for a month now. It has been actually pretty calm here after the first few days back. The girls swarmed the second Brandon was back. It was pretty stressful, but he was a man of his word. He had a town hall the day that we arrived and straightened everyone out. He also spoke to all of Cheryl's former friends, and it didn't take him very much time to figure out who had told Cheryl we were leaving the pack. Ivy Phillips, who still had the text messages, and her call history in her phone showed that she was indeed the leak. Brandon wanted to make an example of her, and she was killed for putting her Luna in danger. It was at his discretion, and that is what he chose to do. Brandon also introduced Justin to his pack as the new Delta. He was getting some interest, and a few of the She-Wolves recognized him from the video. They were very interested in getting to know him, and Brandon shut them down quickly. He made the announcement about me having 2 mates, and the pack went haywire. Jealous unmated males that had been interested in me, and She-Wolves that liked both Brandon and Justin were complaining about my having 2 mates. Brandon let them settle and then told them that if they had watched the response video from the original video that my sister had done, they would have already known about this. Clearly, the PN was shared and viewed many more times than the response video was, but I had asked my dad at the Bloodwalker pack, and Brandon had asked his own dad, as well as Truett's dad, to make sure the response video was mentioned in the town hall at Blackadder while we were gone. I know for a fact that they were told. Brandon's dad told us that through the link when he was done with the town hall. We forwarded it to him to share with the pack. But Reagan's video was at more than double our views. Some of that was due to it being shared by humans, but also because it was clearly the video that most people wanted to see, with not much talking and attractive people. Our video was to clarify, and would never make it out to the human world. It was not for them. The first week was tougher, but after Brandon kicked out the 4th She-Wolf for coming onto him, or Justin, it stopped. I was glad because now that we were spending all this time together, our bond was very strong. They both were wonderful and supportive. They were both proud of the baby being a boy. It was almost like he belonged to them both, as they were both acting like proud papas. The baby was healthy and growing very well. He was strong, and I was stronger for being pregnant with him. Justin's room was now complete, and he was excited about getting his own space. Things had been going very well, and I could not be happier with both men. Most of the problems had been cleared up by the goddess herself. My parents were happier with Justin since I told them what had actually happened. Dad is still furiously trying to locate where Graham and Reagan went, but with no success so far. Whoever is hiding them, is staying low, and keeping quiet about it. I guess he found a pack that was willing to take them all in, or they were dead, but I know we couldn't get that lucky. If they were dead, the goddess would have told us. She knows how anxious I am about this war and my baby's participation in it. I am horrified that from birth, they would have less time to play and be children, than their friends. Their little shoulders have to bear such a great weight on them. That was the saddest part about this. I feel like I had already failed them as a mom, and they aren't even here yet. I already love this little guy, and I cannot wait to hold him in my arms. I wonder what he is going to look like. I hope he looks just like his handsome father. I am just over 2 months and we are at the pack doctor to get my checkup. Okay, Raven, you need to start coming in every 2 weeks for the next 2 months. The baby will probably be here around the 4.5 month mark. He is growing very well, and everything looks great. At 4 months you will come in weekly until the pup decides that he wants to arrive. I am very excited to meet him myself. This will be our new alpha, and the whole pack is excited, my doctor told me. Brandon had the female doctor on staff become my doctor after both he and Justin couldn't contain themselves seeing the other doctor trying to do my exam. They are very possessive, and I am never alone. I am with one, or the other, or both of them. The unmated males that originally thought that they had a chance, now knew better. Some of them still thought it was me in the video, and kept trying to flirt. But they quickly learned that it wasn't me in that disgusting video. And secondly, I had not one, but 2 strong mates. They quickly decided to keep looking for their own mates. Brandon was excited that it was his night to get to sleep with just us 2, and I can see him making every effort to make our night special. I guess not having me to himself is making him appreciate me a lot more. He was so happy at just the thought of us sleeping together like we used to. I didn't have the heart to tell him that I was ready to have s*x with him again. It had been over a month since we had, and I missed him very much. I missed his touch, and how he made me feel. I knew if I did tell him that he would not be able to focus today on his work. But the staff had told me that he had ordered a dinner cart for us to eat in our room, and that he had ordered candles too. He had them make my favorite meal, and that meant a lot to me too. He had no idea that I was going to be willing to forgive him tonight, and move forward. He was just doing this because he missed it being just us. His pain at having to share me was still there. I know that he was doing his best, and they both were, but it was hard. They were jealous of the other, even though I was not sleeping with either of them. They were very competitive with training too. I can still see a little fan club still remaining for them both, but the she-wolves all know to keep their hands to themselves. With 4 of their club members already gone and kicked out of the pack in banishment. The rest of the she-wolves should know by now, that it is the best way to get themselves thrown out of the pack, by touching either one of them. I also know that I needed to be fair to them both and that tomorrow night I would be sleeping with Justin, but I don't know if his luck will be as good as Brandon's will be tonight. I will have to see how things go. It has to be natural, and I will not be rushed or forced into forgiveness. I know the goddess herself was encouraging me to move forward, by taking my pain away, but I still am working through it. I know she took his choice away with Reagan's actions, just like she did mine, but it still hurts me what happened. I also know that the hurt that I feel is because I love him. I do love him, and I want to be with him too. The bond is helping me to get past it, and I have no idea what is in store for Justin and me. I will play it by ear, and if and when the time comes, I know he will be happy too. Justin is content with waiting. He is pretty happy these days. We are together for all our meals, and he is with me most of the day. He is making friends here, but thankfully they are mostly males. Stella and Lainey are happier with him too, now that they know the truth. He knows that some of the girls here are still eyeballing him, but he avoids them. They have been slow to approach as they don't want to be banished. Brandon will not allow Justin to be put in a bad position either. They both know how possessive I am about both of them. I told Stella and Lainey while we were training that Brandon had a special meal made for us tonight. Stella froze and straightened up to look at me suspiciously and said, "Wait, is tonight the night?" "Yes, I believe so," I told her, and she starts to clap and rushed up to hug me. I am so glad. I don't know how you held out this long. You, my friend, are the most stubborn person that I know, Lainey said as she came up to hug me too. We are all 3 pregnant. Lainey got pregnant in her second heat, and is about 3 weeks behind us, at a little over 1 month. We are all excited. I worried for their children too, but Stella said we will get them trained, that it will be fine. Most packs don't even know about the upcoming war, but we do and can use the time to prepare for it. Stella is positive that we will win because we are the good guys. I have to point out that it isn't always the case. It is usually the most prepared, or the best funded. We all finish with our training and go to head back to the pack house when I realized that Justin is further back from us than normal. He is normally right by my side to be able to protect me at all times. I realized that he had heard what I said, and even though it was not intentional, I am sure it hurt him, knowing that I will be sleeping with Brandon tonight. I will need to speak to him, as I really never meant to hurt him, I just forgot he was there. He always gives us space for us to train and talk and does not interrupt us unless we need some instruction on what we are training on. I slowed down to let him catch up and sent them on without me. "Justin, "Can I speak to you please?" I asked him. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes and nodded. We headed to the patio area behind the pack house, and we lucked out, we were alone. We sat in silence for a little while before I finally said, "Justin, I am sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you with what you overheard. I am working on forgiveness for you both, not just Brandon. He doesn't even know that I am going to be with him tonight. I was going to tell you. I knew you would know anyway. As we are mated together, I am sure that Brandon will feel it when we are together too. I love you, and I am looking forward to spending our first night together in our new room tomorrow. If you want to plan something special for us, that would be nice, but not necessary. Although it may help give you something to focus on tonight. I never wanted to intentionally hurt you. I hope the goddess will take care of any pain that you might feel, for you both. I don't want either of you to suffer." Justin stood up and pulled me up from my chair. He gave me a tight hug and after a little while he said, "I know you know what it feels like, Angel. I am sorry that I cannot control my emotions and my jealousy. I will wait until you want to be with me. I love you, and I know that you wouldn't deliberately hurt me. I do understand, and I will absolutely make plans for us both for tomorrow. I want us to have a special first night alone together. I know on my night, Brandon will be upset and jealous too. It won't matter if you aren't ready to complete our mating with me or not. I can wait, as long as I can hold you in my arms all night, I am good." Justin is going to make me cry. I can feel he is being totally honest with me, and I have been particularly hard on him, especially at first. He had to put up with a lot from me, as his actions had caused me the greatest amount of pain. I acted out in anger because of how much he had hurt me. I am almost completely healed from where I had been, and now I wanted to move forward with my life, with our life together. With my mates, and our pups. I was so excited about the direction that my life was now going. Justin was still hugging me when we both felt it. The baby was kicking, and moving around and I was so excited. The baby was happy, and Justin's face when he felt it was surprised and happy. He considers the pup to be ours, just like when we have a pup together Brandon will consider it to be his too. Justin let me go and got on his knees in front of me to put his hands on either side of my still fairly small stomach. The next kick is even stronger, and I see my stomach move with the force of it. We are both looking down in amazement at my stomach when Brandon walked up to see what was going on. Justin moved one of his hands from my stomach so Brandon could touch it as well. As soon as his hand touched my stomach, the baby must have known that his dad was there. The baby let out a really hard kick, and I gave a laughing sob at how happy I am right now. We are all a little teared up, as this is the first time that he has made his presence known to us. The doctor had told us it was coming soon, and she was right. He is right on time, my precious baby boy. We stayed there for a little while, and I gave Justin a little kiss good night. I still felt a little guilty, and I linked Stella so she would have him eat with them. Most nights we eat together, but occasionally we will need some special time alone. I will make sure that whoever is by himself that night, will have company. Brandon told me to go up and grab a shower and he would be up soon. I had just gotten done and was drying off when he came in to run to grab his shower too. I wasn't into getting dressed up fancy tonight. I was just going to stay in my robe. I probably wouldn't be needing it soon anyway. I have missed my time with Brandon, we had been having s*x quite a bit before the incident. Daily, and sometimes multiple times in a day. I know that this has been very hard on him as well, and I know that I will feel even better when we are back to how it used to be between us. I heard the knock on the door and went to go get our meal from the lead Omega. She was very kind and very sweet about me coming into her kitchen to bake for the last 2 weeks. I think she appreciated the help with desserts, just like they did at Blood Walker. Next time my parents come, I will make sure to bake extra for them to take home with them. I thanked her, and she nodded and left. I left the plates covered and they smelled fantastic. I have been lucky so far, only bad smells, like passing the trash, had made me feel sick. I have had a fairly uneventful pregnancy. I have to assume that is the goddess going easy on me in that aspect. She saved me and my pup, Justin did too, and for that alone, I will be forever grateful to them both. Brandon came out and he is in a pair of basketball shorts. His deep V-cut is on proud display, but he has been sleeping in them since we got back. Yes, the view was really nice, but I had managed to control myself. He has been taking a lot of showers these days. He still didn't know that tonight was the night and I smiled thinking of how excited he was going to be once he found out. I had spoken to the doctor and she said that I am good to have sex, just not overly aggressive sex. I was happy to hear I had the go-ahead for it, as I don't want to do anything that is going to hurt my baby. Brandon came up and lit the candles for us and took the domes off the plates. I love Italian food, and he knew that, so I am looking at 2 of my favorites, lasagna and spaghetti and meatballs. His plate is clearly larger than mine, but my mouth is watering at the meal. The bread was wrapped in a large cloth napkin, and they had done French bread brushed with garlic butter, and cheese on top. I immediately started to eat and Brandon laughed at how excited I was at the meal. It was excellent, and I was so full. Brandon asked what movie I would like, and we went through the selection on the screen before we found one we both liked. Each night I got pampered, by both Brandon and Justin. They both did their best to keep me comfortable and happy. I would get leg massages or back rubs, but I loved the foot massage the most. They knew the pressure points on my feet and sometimes the sounds I made from the foot rub, had whoever was doing it, have to head to take a shower afterward. They both took such good care of me, it was just a matter of time before I had to forgive them both. They have had a hard time of this too, all thanks to my sister Reagan. Brandon grabbed some lotion and massaged my feet while we watched the movie, and the night was perfect. He even put some socks on me so I wouldn't slip when I got up to go to the bathroom. He had thought of everything, and it was a lovely night. I couldn't wait to fall asleep in his arms, but we have some unfinished business to do first. Chapter 69 Brandon's POV. I have been so excited for today. Justin's room was finally ready, and we would not be all sharing a bed together anymore. I felt kind of bad for him, as I got the first night alone with Raven. I knew how much he loved her. Sometimes I watch him as he is with her all day. I am jealous as he gets to do that when a lot of the time I am busy with my work. But I learned the 3rd week that we were back that he provides an invaluable service. I know that Raven is safe, he would die defending her, and that allows me to be able to wholly focus on my work. It helps me to get it done a lot quicker than I would have if I had to worry for Raven's safety. I have been waiting for this day to come and making plans for it to be special for her. I have missed it being just us together, and the night is finally here. Do not get me wrong, I am very thankful for Justin. If not for him, my stupid act of jealousy and rage would have cost me my beautiful Raven, and my unborn pup. That fact is not lost on me. As far as I am concerned, I could never repay Justin for that. He and the goddess saved her, and so I will tough through this situation, even if it isn't one that I would have chosen for us. I know that he is truthfully happy for me and Raven with our pup. I hope that I can be the same way, and truly happy for them when it is their turn. I could feel his excitement earlier today when he was holding Raven's stomach to feel the baby kick. That was a first, and I had been a little jealous of not being there for the first kick. But they both told me that the hardest kick was after I arrived. They were both under the impression that the baby knew that I was there. I couldn't help the pride I felt in my strong son showing us that he was happy, and growing. That made it an even better day. I have been planning for this night for the last 2 weeks. I wanted her to be happy and relaxed, content with it just being us there together. We have all been sharing the bed for the last month, and although it was easier now than when we started, it is not the best situation for 2 possessive males. It made it hard for us to learn what to do to make this whole thing work out for us. It was probably best that Raven was angry with both of us. I think if we had been having S*X in the mix, one or both of us would have been hurt, physically hurt by the other male. I can tell that she is happier with us both. Her kisses have gone from our cheeks to our lips. That is a great sign, and I have high hopes that in the next week or so, she might have totally forgiven us. She doesn't have to punish me anymore. The guilt I felt over not helping her up after she fell, and immediately taking her to the pack doctor stays with me daily. I caused that. I allowed my anger to override my love for her. In doing that, I almost took the most precious things in my life away with my own actions. I don't think that I will ever forgive myself for it. I knew I had shrugged her off of me because her touch calmed me, and I didn't want to be calm. I didn't want her to touch me and take my anger away, especially after she had touched that jerk. It didn't occur to me that I didn't smell him on her, and I didn't feel the pain. I didn't know about the betrayal pains, not until Raven showed us both what she and Emerald had been dealing with. My jealousy over it being that Justin, who had touched her, was the reason for the majority of my anger. Seeing him with so much love in his eyes as he looked at Raven in that video, hurt me, to my core. I will always feel guilty over my actions towards Raven though. I should have stopped to think clearly before I acted, and I didn't. I couldn't stop the rage that was coursing through me. I didn't stop to think about what I was doing at the time. I know that when my baby boy gets here that the pain of it will be even worse. Just being able to see him will make the thought of how close I came to losing him, and it being totally my fault. I got everything done with the lead Omega, Helen. She was just as happy to help get this done for us. She told me tonight that she has never seen me happier, and I realized that she is right. I have never been happier in my life. There had always been something holding me back before. Liza and her actions were always in the back of my mind, but they are gone now. I believe that was a gift from the goddess as well. I just know with complete positivity in my heart that Raven will never hurt me like that. She can be fully trusted, and that allowed me to be fully committed to our bond. Raven had been right. I had been thinking to keep the fan club around in case Raven broke my heart too. I was wrong about doing that and glad that she told me how it made her feel. I know that if someone touched her like that, they would have lost the hand they touched her with or their life. I ran upstairs to our room to get my shower, and Raven was just drying off. I cannot stop myself from watching her as the shower heats up and dream of the day that we can shower together again. She is absolutely beautiful, and her baby bump, which is proof of our love, just makes her even more gorgeous to me. Thankfully, she exits the bathroom to go get dressed, so I can take care of the little matter that had sprung up while looking at her. I know that until she forgives me, I can only just wait patiently. It has only been a month, but thinking of what I said to her in the heat of my rage, still makes me sick. I still cannot believe what I said to her, and my being furious at the time doesn't excuse it. I know this, and so I wait, patiently, for her to give me a sign that I am fully forgiven. I have been praying for it, and I hope that sometime in the next month, we will get there. I come into the bedroom and see the food is there. I am surprised that she is in a robe, but she might have a chill and I go into care mode for her. Whatever she needs, I will get it for her. She enjoyed the food, very much, and I am glad that her appetite is back. She lost it for a little while, and I know that she is still stressed in knowing that her former father, and her sister are part of who we will have to fight. I don't think any of us thought that they would be able to get away, and then actually disappear. We have increased the bounty on them, but still no information on them at all. We get set up on the bed and I sit at the end of the bed to rub her feet. Justin had been the brilliant person to ask her doctor what we can do to help her during the pregnancy. That was super smart, and I have to say that being caring comes more naturally to him. That really doesn't make me happy, but he is glad to share his information with me, so it is a win for us both. I could not bear to see her fall again. I can still close my eyes and see her fall on the front steps over and over again, and it breaks my heart every time. I got to wash my hands of the lotion, and when I come back to get in bed I see that Raven had allowed the robe to open some. I don't know if it is accidental, or deliberate, but any view of her I can get is a good one for me. I settle on my side of the bed, and she comes in a little closer to me, this time with the robe exposing her long legs to me, and some of her hip, and I see that she didn't put her pajamas on. Hope springs into my heart, and other places. I am fighting to try to keep my cool, and not make it obvious that I am struggling until she gives me a clear signal. Raven gives me a bright smile and said, "Are you tired, or are you okay with us being together again tonight?" She did not have to ask me twice. I leaned over to give her a passionate kiss on her lips. I thank the goddess that my sweet Raven has forgiven me for my actions. I want to touch her all over, and just don't know where to start, so I keep kissing her. I realize that the door is unlocked and ran over to lock it. I do not want to take a chance of anyone interrupting us tonight. I finally can be with my Raven again, and I cannot be any happier than I am right now. Raven stood up while I was locking the door. We both get back onto the bed. I am so hard right now. I am glad I helped myself out earlier in the shower, but I am worried about how long I can hold out here. Raven gives me another smile and I am amazed at the love that I have in my heart for this woman. She is perfection and I give her another kiss which is practically begging for attention. She is so wet for me. Thank you, goddess, that she is already ready for me. I kissed Raven again, so thankful for her, and I get set up between her legs. "Please, Brandon, I am ready," Raven said in a breathy voice, "and I cannot wait a moment longer." We both needed this, and I slowly slide into my mate. I cannot hold back pleasure either as she tightly hold of me. I am glad to be in her delicious heat. I just stay still for a minute as I try to control my emotions. I knew I was not supposed to have a vigorous time with her while she is pregnant, so I am trying to stay as calm as I can. Not going to lie, it is hard. I start to slowly, but can't stay at a slow pace. I won't be aggressive, but she likes it hard, and I have to say that I won't be able to say no to her on this. I needed this, and I know that she did too. As I got closer, I knew that she needed to go over and I need her to finish with me. I just kept up the pace I had settled on. I can feel her legs against me as she goes to go over again. Oh, how I have missed this, missed her. Our being whole again. If this is a dream, I never want to wake up from it. I ease off of her and go to get her to clean her up. If she wasn't already pregnant with my pup, that would have done it, I think proudly. I cannot wait for us to have a house full of pups. I have recently even gotten better about thinking about her having pups with Justin. I know that it will be happening, the same as I know that she will carry another pup for me again one day. Our pups won't just be mine and hers, and it hurts less thinking about it now. I think seeing how caring Justin is towards the pup that she is carrying now, it helps a great deal that he does care so much about the baby. In time, I will be there too for his pups. I am sure he is the more thankful of the two of us. He had officially lost her, and if the goddess hadn't intervened, then she would have been taken from him forever. I know he loves her too, and I hope that he didn't feel the pain that Raven had shown us a month ago in this. If he had, then I am not looking forward to my turn. I know that if she has forgiven me, she has probably forgiven him too. As much as I want to just keep her to myself, I know that she is his mate too, and he wants to complete the mating to make their bond even stronger than it is now. Plus, after they have completed it, we will all be stronger with the blessings from the goddess. I gently cleaned Raven up and took back. I cannot wait to hold her in my arms again. I cannot stop my smile. The first time was for me, that was all I could think about. This time I will make it even better for her, and I lazily start. She keeps making those cute little moans at my touch, and I plan on making this time last a lot longer for her. It had been a while, and I couldn't help it. Every sigh and moan was absolute music to my ears as I played her body like an instrument for the next 30 minutes. I laid back down on the bed and pulled her up over me. I stared into her eyes as I lined myself up, and she slowly lowered herself onto me. It hurt so good for her to do that. I watched her through the glass door, and she is glowing with happiness. I feel proud that I can make my mate feel my love for her. She is my everything, and I just cannot help but be even happier at that feeling that she gives me. She is my calm when I am angry. I will thank the goddess over and over again for the gift that she has given us. For her sending the unexpected hero, Justin, there to find and get Raven rescued in time. So no matter how much I truly do not like having to share my mate with him, I will do it, and with a happy heart. Because the alternative of it would be me losing both Raven and our pup. I would have been inconsolable over it, and potentially have taken my own life, once I found out that my actions had caused the whole thing. I can live with this, and be happy about it, as knowing that there is more at stake for us, as werewolves, and the even bigger picture of the other supernaturals who they want to destroy is worth this upcoming fight. I may not really know the other species very well, but for some of our own kind to want to kill them to rule over everyone, I just cannot support it. I know men like this, they will not stop until everything, and everyone is under their control. They will not stop until they get what they want, and we are the only ones who are able to step up to stop them. Chapter 70 Justin's POV. I appreciated Raven thinking of me and wanting me to be distracted tonight. It was going to be hard knowing that she was going to most likely sleep with Brandon tonight. As much as I am trying to fight the jealousy of her being with him, I can't. It is impossible for me to deny it. I know that Brandon will be feeling the same way as I am when it comes to his turn to experience this. I just hope she is willing to complete the bond with me soon. That is what I am dreaming of, and I pray that it will be happening soon. I am also a little concerned about the pain that I could potentially experience tonight. The pain of my mate being with someone else. It is not that I fear physical pain. That is not that pain that I dread, it is the fact that my mate is happy being with someone else, and not me. That will be the part that hurts, and even though I understand that we are both her mates, I know Brandon will get what I am thinking about too. I ache to have Raven. I want her lying against me, and see the look on her face when she is about to come undone. I want to experience the kind of closeness that only lovers know. I want to feel her body against mine, with nothing between us, as I show her just how much I truly love her. She has no idea how much pining I have done for her in the last 3 months since I found out that she was mine. How much I have suffered at not being able to be fully mated. She has no idea how much I want to be with her, to touch her, to hold her. The bond has only strengthened with the time that I have been able to spend with her in the last month. But until we complete the mating process, I know it will not be complete. Getting to I dream of the time when she will be fully mine and I wake up snuggled into her, and we are alone. It has been hard sharing a bed with her, and Brandon, her scent surrounds me, and each morning I wake up with the normal morning problem that men have to deal with. Brandon has been having the same problem as well. She has been very understanding of it, and I know she loves me. It is the forgiving part that I hope will happen soon. I know how much she was hurt. I saw it in her eyes after she woke up after her fall from the tree. I was very close to her when she awoke, and there was no way for her to hide the hurt and pain that she felt. The bond just kept getting stronger for me from then on. I could even feel it after Reagan marked me. Like a phantom residing deep within me, telling me what a horrible mistake I had made. I should have slammed the door in Reagan's face the first time she came to visit me at training. But I was homesick and was glad to see someone I knew. I had never been away from Silver Blade, and my family, my whole life. The guys there were jealous of me. I had a target on my back, as they felt I made it look too easy. It was easy for me, and I never knew why until I found out last month that I was a Sigma. I was built to be stronger than them. That wasn't my fault. It was just so weird being there by myself for that training. I was already trained. My father had taught me more than I learned at that training. I learned nothing new, except how petty people can be when you are more successful than they are. I was missing my family so badly the night she showed up. I was glad to see a familiar face and catch up with what was going on in the pack. But the whole thing was just weird. I went from being totally committed to finding my mate. The one I had been waiting for the last few years. Only to end up ravishing Reagan, who I never had an interest in before. That night was hazy and weird. I just know how disappointed I was in myself, and how upset Dad was in me too. He and Mom are true mates, and they make each other stronger. I always wanted that kind of love myself. I had been patiently waiting for her, until that fateful night. I don't know what happened, but I did it. I had to account for my actions, of not waiting for my mate. Reagan was hard to live with from the get-go. When she drugged me and tricked us into marking her, Lorne was furious and wanted to kill her. I did too. I knew what she had done to get us to that point. I never wanted to mark her as mine. To be forced to do that was the worst day of my life. She is a terrible she-wolf, and after that, I pored over the contract. They might be able to make me her chosen mate for the 5 years I signed for. But there was no way that I was going to make it the happily ever after that Reagan wanted it to be. The look on her face when I told her that I was just following the contract to the letter. That day was the best part of our whole time together. I headed downstairs to eat with Stella and Truett when he linked me that they were heading down, so I headed to go down with them. I usually stayed with Raven and Brandon, so I hadn't had any issues yet after those other girls got banished. I can see some of the she-wolves from the table in the corner looking at me as I grabbed my food. I made sure to hurry up my pace, to get away from them. They know that I am Raven's mate too. I have got no idea why they would even try it. I was at the town hall, and I know what he told them. I am as off-limits as he is, and they know this. I have no idea why they keep trying, any time that I am alone. Like when Raven has to go to the restroom when I am escorting her, which is getting to be more and more these days. The problem that arises is the last plan that Reagan had because I also starred in it. It was embarrassing to know that so many people have seen me at my most vulnerable. Seen by many in this pack, my previous pack, and at Bloodwalker. I have heard more times than I can count, you don't have anything to be ashamed of. I see some of them in my little fan club starting to follow me and then stopping, after seeing that I am heading to Stella and Truette. Yes, that wouldn't be a smart move, I would have witnesses to whatever they said to me. I see them head back off toward their table, and I am glad that Raven thought about me. I am glad that I dodged getting propositioned tonight. I need to make sure to go upstairs with Stella and Truette too. I do not want to get cornered by any of these girls. Hopefully, they will soon get over whatever interests them in me, or they find their mate. Either way, I do not want any of them to have anything to do with me. I am here for Raven, that is it. Hey, please don't go back upstairs without me, I asked them earnestly. Stella nods at me and then glances over at their table. She already saw them, and I figured that she did. They all try to turn away from her, they know she is looking to see who all tried to approach me. Stella will tell on them in a heartbeat. Yes, we would never leave you. Clearly, Brandon has some more work cut out for him, Stella tells Truette, and motions towards the group with her fork. I know she wants him to look as she doesn't know everyone, and he will. He is pretty smooth and doesn't make it as obvious as she did. They keep looking over at me, so it is easy for him to figure out who they are. They can't help it. They saw him in action and would like to take him for a spin too now. Stella Truette tried to make a joke. It failed, as Raven is her best friend and I am her mate. Would you think it is as funny if one of the warriors wanted to take me for a spin, Truette? I can see him getting angry at the question and started asking her who had approached her. He would tear them apart with her being pregnant, he is even more possessive about her. No one approached me, Truette, I am just pointing out that although it is not the norm to have two mates, it doesn't mean that Justin is the odd man out. Raven loves him as much as she loves Brandon. They are the same to her, she values them both. Those girls do not need to approach him. If Raven saw it, it would cause her stress. Stress is bad for her, and she is carrying the next alpha. We need to nip this in the bud. Never mind, Truette, I will do it myself, Stella said and got up, throwing her fork on her plate, and headed over to the she-wolves. Now I am concerned. She is Raven's best friend and pregnant, she doesn't need to put herself in a position to get hurt. I hopped up, as did Truette, and we were hot on her heels to stop her from engaging with them. Excuse me, yes, I am talking to you. Yeah, all of you, if you could pay attention. My name is Stella, in case you don't who I am. Raven is my best friend, and this man. Stella stopped talking to grab my arm and pull me forward to the table to stand next to her. Justin here is off limits to all of you. Please try to remember that, he is marked, and not available for whatever dirty deeds that you girls might be thinking of doing to him or with him. When you see him, you need to think of him just like Brandon, not for you, Stella told them and then turned to walk away. Excuse me, you can't come over here and tell us that. You don't run the pack, and Raven is not with him right now. We just wanted to talk to him, he can decide what he wants to do. He is a big boy, one of the she-wolves said, and she glanced at my zipper when she said big boy. That really creeped me out. She was very bold, and I stepped back away from their table. I did not feel comfortable anywhere around her. Yet, we just wanted to get to know him a little better. Looks like Raven is busy tonight with the alpha. What is wrong with us wanting to keep him company? We don't want him to be lonely, and she won't miss him tonight anyway, another one of the she-wolves said and winked at me. It was a really bad idea to come over here, and I took another step back from the table. Are you all crazy? Because the road you are going down leads to banishment. If that is what you want, I can guarantee you that I can make it happen. Do not disrespect our Luna, and are alpha by continuing to speak stupid comments. Alpha Brandon advised you all to leave him alone and to leave Justin alone too. 4 girls have been booted, we can easily make it another 4 girls if you want. I surely won't miss you, Stella told them, and she is pissed. These girls are really disrespectful to her as the beta female. I guess they think she can't fight pregnant. I have seen her train, they do need to worry, she is a great fighter. Look, whoever you are, you came over here, but you need to mind your own business. This whole thing about her having 2 mates. I have seen her, and she is not special at all. I do not know how in the world she got not 1, but 2, hot mates. It isn't fair to the rest of us. She is clearly ignoring him tonight, and I was just going to offer to keep him company. That was it, no harm in it. So butt out of it, okay, the first girl told her and gave me a smile. Her offer still stands, but I will not be encouraging her at all. I have no interest in anyone other than Raven. Look, dumbass, I am going to speak slower so you and your friends here can be sure to understand me. He is not available for you. Not for any of you, he has a mate, he is marked, do you know that the Luna would kill you for it? Raven and Justin belong together, just like Brandon belongs to Raven too. Just because you are too slow to understand it, doesn't make it any less true, Stella tells them, and I can see Truett having to press his lips together to keep from laughing. You need to shut up and keep moving, go on back to your table, and stay over there. You do not need to make an enemy out of me, the girl fires back at Stella. Who are you calling a bitch, stupid? I was trying to help you, but since you know everything, I am good. I will go back over there. I will finish my dinner and then we will all go upstairs. You do not have a chance in the world with this man, I was trying to save you some time, and some embarrassment too. But you do whatever your little pea brain tells you to do. It is your funeral, Stella said and gave a half laugh as we turned to walk away. Just because you believe what Raven said, doesn't make it true. None of us believe her. The goddess gives you 1 mate. Everyone knows that. She is just a greedy that just wants to monopolize them both and is using that as an excuse. She had Brandon first, so he is her true mate. She has just brainwashed Brandon into thinking that Justin is hers too, so she could get to sleep with them both. But the whole pack knows the truth, she is a liar, and they are playing along because they both want to FK her, she said, and we all stopped. What did you just say? Stella said, and she fought against Truett to get loose, but he held her carefully in his arms. He is furious himself, but he has to protect his mate. That is fine, and I will protect mine as well. I will take care of this. This BH went too far and she will have to pay for what she said. I linked 2 warriors to come to the dining room. I stepped back up to the table while we waited for the warriors. When I gave them a smile, they all smiled back at me, waiting to hear what I was going to say. Their clear desire for me was obvious, the scent of it getting stronger and stronger at the table. I do not have to show you, but I will, I said to them as I unbuttoned some of the buttons on my shirt. They all stared intently at me as with each button that was undone more skin was exposed. I undid 3 of them because my body was not for their eyes, only for Raven. I pulled the collar over and exposed my neck with Raven's mark proudly showing on my neck. I am marked, Raven is my mate, even if you do not wish it to be so. Let me clear something else up for you all. I was her true mate. She belonged to me first, Brandon is her second chance mate. The goddess herself bound us all together, herself. Nothing that you have said is correct. Raven does have 2 simultaneous mates. That can only happen when the goddess herself wants it to happen. She did this on purpose, deliberately, and with foresight in her actions. To deny it is to tell the goddess herself that she made a mistake, and she didn't. Do not ever approach me again, any of you. I would never cheat on my mate, for any reason. I would never betray her, for anyone, certainly not any of you. The warriors approached, and I had them escort the she-wolf who had spoken badly about Raven and me down to the cells. She is an instigator and screamed out threats all the way across the dining room, and the entry before the door shutting drowned her out. I will not allow anyone to speak ill of my mate. She deserves to be thrown out of the pack, but that is not my call. I will let Truett relay what happened to Brandon, and he can decide what happens to his pack member. I looked at the rest of the group and walked off, buttoning my shirt back up to where it was only one button undone again. I headed back to my room as I was no longer hungry anymore. I was going to go ahead and start making plans for our special night tomorrow night. I wish I knew more about Raven, but I did know a few things, and I was hoping that the lead Omega would be willing to help me out as well, just like she did Brandon. I know her friends and family are more accepting of me these days, but I do not know if they would like to help me win her over to allow me to finally mate her. She was a year behind me in school, and she had to stay in her room, except for meals, so I really don't know much about her. The only thing I know about her is that she likes to read. I hope that since Stella is her best friend, she will have mercy on me, and help me out with this. She is my one chance here, as I get to learn what my mate likes and dislikes. I doubt Raven would think a dream date is a book date with a massage, but you know what, maybe she would. Or if you want to pay for more such audiobooks, you can send us a request in a private Facebook group, or join us on WhatsApp, a link is given in the video description. The rest of the audiobooks will be uploaded in the next episode. Join us on Patreon to listen to more unlimited audiobooks.